Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming today. This is a very tough one, but I believe we can get through this together. I decided to go live today instead of posting the recorded episode of the Nina and Moretti table. And this episode is about Nina, and it's a tribute to Nina. So I know a lot of people are tuning in, but I'm just going to start. And after the episode or after my tribute, I will allow people to call on this live, and you can be a tribute, make a remark, or say anything that is on your heart about Nina tonight. I'll give it a few minutes, maybe one or two, and then I'll start. Kindly share the live, invite people to join. This is about Nina Collins. This is about the life that she lived. And our family, we appreciate that you are part of this today. So join the live, participate. Just call if you want to. And as we have more people join their live, we ask that you respect time and maybe make your statement brief. As time will allow, we can just celebrate Nina. Today is March 2nd, 2026, and it's 1 year since I said goodbye to the woman who inspired everything you see here. I didn't know if I could show up today, but I am here because this podcast, this table, was built on her love, and as we are all aware, love doesn't die. So I'd like to welcome everyone here to the Nina and Moretti's table. Welcome home. Today's episode is one I've been carrying in my heart for a very long time, especially going through the stages after last year up to this point. So this episode, I would say it is a tribute, it is a testimony, and it is a reminder of God's faithfulness. And it's an invitation for you, for me, for all of us, for anyone listening to grow through grief and not be destroyed by it. I know this is a difficult one, but as we go along, maybe we'll have some understanding of what I mean by that. So, the title of this episode today is a tribute to Dr. Nina Collins, and I'm going to talk about grief, growth, faith, and gratitude. I know it's difficult. Try to get comfortable if you can, no matter where you are, whether you are driving right now, you're home cooking, or you're just relaxing, or just sitting still. I want you to join me at this table today. Let's talk, let's heal, and let's remember, let's grow together. I will start my tribute to Nina today. Today, I want to start by talking about Dr. Nina Collins, my wife, my partner, my friend, my blessing, and my miracle from God. Nina wasn't just a person, she was a light, she was a presence, a force, and someone whose spirit hit the room before her footsteps ever did. She walked with grace, she loved with intention, she cared deeply, and she had a heart that was so powerful enough to lift people, even when she was carrying her own storms. When I think about Nina Collins, when I think about my wife, my partner, I don't just think about the moments we lived. I think about the person she was, the woman that God created her to be, and the legacy she left that still lives right here with me at this table with our kids and everyone that encountered her in her lifetime. And I want to honor her today. It's difficult, but not with sadness, not with heaviness, but with truth, with gratitude, with a love that's still alive. Nina taught me a lot. She taught me so much. Eerie in her absence, she taught me strength. She taught me resilience. She taught me what real love looks like. And I can say that God's love reflected as a human. Her laughter echoes in my mind from time to time. Her wisdom still guides me. Her memory still pushes me to be a better person, to be better in everything I endeavor, in everything I want to do. And this podcast, the Nina T's Table, this mission, I believe is one of the ways I can honor her. So I like to talk about grief a little bit so we have some understanding. Until you go through grief, I don't know, it depends on the level of grief, but until you go through grief, you might not have a deeper understanding of it. So it's always good for them to talk about it. But grief is a strange thing. It doesn't move in a straight line. It doesn't follow a schedule. It doesn't tend to ask for permission. It just hits you whenever you may be having a good day and it hits. You may be having a bad day. So it doesn't matter the circumstance. It shows up anytime. Some days you are some days you are broken, some days you smile again, but then some days you just crumble. And all of that is okay. I want you to know that you may have highs and lows. That's normal. People like to talk about moving on. But let me tell you something from my experience. You don't move on from people you love. You move forward with them. I said it several times in other episodes, but you carry them with you. They become a part of your walk. That love becomes a part of your purpose. And grief itself, if we let it, it can shape us into something deeper and maybe wiser and more compassionate. I think it's shaping me in a place where I'm more compassionate and I look at things differently. I think deeper and I try to empathize with people and to understand the depth of the situation before that offer an advice. So grief not the enemy. Grief is love with no place to go. Grief may be the evidence that something mattered to you, that someone mattered to you. And for me, Nina mattered. She mattered to me, to her kids, to her family, and to everyone who crossed her path. I think she mattered to them. I am a Christian. We have different beliefs, but as a Christian, I just want to talk about how or what God says about grief. So a lot of time we think faith means we shouldn't struggle, and I talk about that. I'm not going to talk about that today, but sometimes we question our faith, we question our purpose, and we question our beliefs. But I don't think if we believe in God, then we should not cry, we should never cry, we should never get hurt, or we should never have questions about our beliefs. But the Bible shows us something different. Even in the Bible, Jesus cried. John 11:35, the Bible says Jesus wept. We consider that the shortest verse in the Bible, but it's very powerful. It tells us that even God understands grief. He understands pain. He understands loss. There are other examples in the Bible. We know the story of David. David cried out to God in the Psalms. The story of Job in the Bible. Job mourned, and he mourned deeply. Also, Mary and Martha in the Bible, they wept when Lazarus died. And if you follow the story, even Jesus did not silence their grief, he joined them in it. So God never said, don't grieve. He said in Matthew, blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. So there are scriptures in the Bible that talks about grief and our understanding, but sometimes as humans, the hurt, the pain sometimes takes over and control us. And it's hard because we are humans and we have feelings. It's difficult, but God doesn't expect us to always be strong. I think He wants us to just understand our and we can lay it at His feet, bring our weaknesses, our difficulties, and our struggles to Him. There's a song about Psalm 34, and it talks about the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. So it's not that God avoids the brokenhearted or He is disappointed by the brokenhearted, but He is close to them. So our tears when we go through difficulties and pains, a sign of weakness in our faith, are the sign. I think it shows signs of a love and a deeper connection, and God meets us right where we are. So every point of need we have in our difficulties, our struggle, in our grief, God is there to meet us. So I look at life differently since the passing of my dear wife, and I consider grief a path or a pathway to growth, to improvement, to being a better person, to learn from my errors, mistakes, and struggles that I went through, and things that I needed to do to be a better person. And so I want to use my grief, my situation to do that. And so sometimes we don't talk about this, but we don't talk about grief and growth because we focus on the struggles, we focus on all of the bad times, and we sometimes just focus on the low and forget about the highs, but there are times where we are in good spirit. And I think a lot of people today want us to, for example, if we just look at Nina as a person, to talk about or remember the good things that she did, the life that she lived, and just remember good things. That is what she will want. So we cannot just focus on the bad side, the pain and the struggles and the suffering. So it's difficult, but sometimes like grief and growth, I think they are connected. When you lose someone you love deeply, a friend, a relative, a loved one, you start to see life differently. Sometimes you don't understand that. You just lived and go through your pain, but you don't recognize that. You start to see life different. For me, I think it's something I've recognized early. And based on that, you tend to realize or look at things that matter to you, and you stop taking little things for granted, like just saying hello to someone, reaching out to someone, and just checking on them, asking whether they're okay, and just telling someone, hey, I love you, I miss you. You start to understand that these little things, they matter. So you don't take them for granted, and you pay attention to bigger things. You pay attention to little things that are blessings to you, but you probably overlook because you focus on all of the good and blessings that sometimes we overlook. It's a blessing every day that we can wake up and breathe because we are here today. Because a lot of people, we have stories of grief because a loved one is no longer here with us. But because we have that, then we focus on other things. But that alone is a blessing. Once you understand that, then you start to pay more attention and pay attention to the little things and you appreciate them. So every day that we can sit up and wake up from our beds and we can breathe, I think it's a blessing. We should appreciate God for that, appreciate our Creator for that. And the other things that will come to trouble us, just remember that we have life. And so grief is teaching me to consider little things that matter. Do not take little things for granted. Pay attention to the blessings that you overlook. And then you start working purpose. You understand your purpose. So for me, losing Nina shifted something in me. It made me more intentional, more reflective, more grateful, more focused on what God is calling me to. And in the process, I learned that grief can either break you or build you. And I decided to walk in that direction of build. I decided to walk in that direction of setting a foundation that I can build up instead of focusing on things that will break me apart. Also, grief can make you bitter or better. And again, you have the option. Sometimes you overlook it, but based on what you go through, it could push you towards that direction of bitterness instead of a direction where you try to improve and better yourself. So I think when we put God in the center of that process, the process of grief, He can turn our pain into purpose. The Bible in Romans chapter 8, all things work for the good of those who love the Lord. Just the first line, all things. It didn't say some, it said all things. So it includes the good things and the bad things. It's not easy, but sometimes the painful things will come and will take over, or sometimes things that will confuse us, that will put us in a place where we are perplexed and don't understand, but it's all things. So we should embrace it, the good, the bad, and God doesn't waste from experiences and stories in the Bible, even personal experience, He transforms it and He can use it for the betterment of our good as believers, or even if you believe in a supreme power. So I think I'm using my experiences and my grief to be a better person and to be able to share my story so that people that struggle or that focus on this side of grief, everyone will go through it, no matter who you are, where you come from. But we have to experience both the good and bad side of it. Once we understand that, then we can deep dive more into our faith. For me now, I'm considering faith and gratitude in the midst of my loss. Let's talk about gratitude because gratitude during grief is not natural. I think it's supernatural. So gratitude doesn't say, I'm happy or I'm glad that this happened. No. Gratitude says, even in the midst of your situation, God is still God. Even in the midst of your grief, you are still blessed. Even in the midst of your situation, you are still alive. Even in the midst of your situation, you still find love around you. It could be in your household, in your community, in your school, your workplace, your church. Gratitude is even during your difficult period of life, you still find love. Even in your grief, God is still with you. So I think gratitude can shift our perspective, our understanding of things, and it can bring us to a place where it lifts the weight of our shoulders, even for a moment. And so If we understand our part of gratitude, I think it opens the door for healing. It reminds us that this is just a story that we have in our life, but our story isn't over. We still have more stories to create, more stories to write. So for me in this moment, I am grateful for the years I had with my wife, the late Dr. Nina Collins. I am grateful for the love we shared. I am grateful for the things I learned, the lessons she taught me, and the things and the memories she left behind. I'm also grateful that even though she's not here physically, but her spirit is still guiding me through my life journey. Key thing I've learned in this process is that gratitude doesn't erase grief, but it gives us it to stand on. And while we are aware of the gratitude, it's also good to focus on our healing. So we have to heal and then how to heal the memory of someone you love or the memory of your loved one. So if you are here on this live right now and you're going through grief, it could be grief that happened because of death or grief of some bad situation in your life. It could be financial difficulties, it could be loss of job. It's that you are struggling with right now. I just want you to know that healing is not a betrayal, and also moving forward is not forgetting. Living a life is also not disrespectful to the memory of the person you are mourning. We hold back our own healing because we feel guilty. I went through that and I had a struggle and pushed through that to be to heal from that guilt because the people we love, they will want us to live. The people you love, you want them to live. So they want us to grow, they want us to be happy, they want us to push forward and try to achieve everything we want to achieve in this life, our purpose, our dream, aspirations. So one of the best ways to honor someone's memory is to live well. And you can do that. Try to build something meaningful, walk in faith, and just allow the influence of that person you miss so much to shape your life, to shape your future, to shape what your belief system is. And wouldn't want anyone, I can say that, anyone, especially me, to stay stuck in a place of sorrow. She will want love, she will want joy, she will want happiness, purpose, growth, peace. That's why her entire life she tried to understand people. She could notice that you sat up based on conversation. She pick it up. Hey, you're not okay. What's going on? Talk to me. And she tried to offer that a comfort zone so that you can work through your pain or struggle. Today, it's tough, it's difficult, but I choose to honor her by living, by growing, by healing, and by helping others heal. So I want to encourage all of us. It's difficult. This is not one day, two or three, it's forever. But I just want to encourage you to continue to grieve, experience your highs and your lows. But remember that even the people that we grieve, they want us to continue to live. They want us to be there for one another. They want us to encourage one another. They want us to pray for one another. So if you are grieving today, if you feel lost, if you feel broken, if your heart is heavy, I want to speak to you directly. Please, you are not alone. You are loved, you are seen, you are held by God, and you will get through this. Remember, you are not forgetting about the person, you are not forgetting about the situation, but you are remembering the situation with gratitude, not by avoiding the pain, but by letting God walk you through it. So God will restore your strength. God will renew your mind. God will comfort your heart, and God will give you peace. Sometimes it doesn't make sense at all. But yes, that's the peace that we are desired. That's the peace that we get from God. We just have to understand it and know that, yeah, some days will be tough, some days will be really good, some days your spirit will be lifted, but you will go through spells of highs and lows, ups and downs. That's normal. There's nothing wrong with you. Do not allow anyone to put you in a box because of their own experience. Everyone experience grieve differently, everyone heal differently. You can offer something, but because you heal a certain way, it doesn't mean another person will heal that. We should understand. So allow people to cry when they want to cry, allow them to be happy when they be happy. Do not try to restrict their feelings or emotions. Sometimes we just do it because we think that's the best thing to do, that's the best advice we get. But I don't know the level of grief, but once you understand something, like for me personally, my wife was everything to me, and I'm using my situation to understand. And now I see people differently. With people I grieving, I try to be in a place where my words to them will provide support and healing and not destroy them. So just know that you are not alone. You're not walking alone. God is right there beside you, step by step, day by day. He's there with you. Thank you for coming to this, for listening. And I'd like to close this episode before I open the floor for people to call and pay tribute, make a statement or remark. Anything you remember you want to say about Nina Collins tonight, you can. So as I close, I want to thank Nina for her life. I want to thank her for her love, for her legacy, and for the ways she still inspires me, and for the purpose God has given me through knowing her or my encounter with her. So I want to thank God. I want to thank the Almighty God for being my strength, for carrying me through the darkest seasons of my life, or darkest season, I'll say, for giving me the hope that doesn't collapse under pressure, and for allowing me to experience a love so powerful that even death cannot erase it. And so I want to thank you all, the listeners, for sitting with me at this table today for this brief episode in tribute to my wife, Dr. Nina Collins, for sharing this moment with me, for being open to healing as we all are going through something in our life, and also for embracing growth in this period. And I want to encourage you to choose faith and to choose gratitude. And remember, we are all stronger than we, and we are all loved more than we know it from people around us, our family and friends. And most importantly, we are loved by God. So remember, God is closer than you realize. So I am the host of the Nina and Moretti's Table. This is Moretti Collins. And thank you so much for sitting at this table with me. I want you to stay blessed, stay encouraged, and let's keep growing together in faith and in love. So thank you